Within every soul lies a secret power, a divine command waiting to be spoken. Many wander the earth believing they are limited, bound by circumstance, confined by fear, and defined by past mistakes. Yet truth whispers, gently but persistently, that the wealth they seek in the outer world is already established within. The heart holds the blueprint of abundance, the mind the key, and the spoken word the sacred instrument that unlocks treasures unseen. When you speak with faith, you call forth the invisible into form. When you declare prosperity with certainty, you summon the supply that has always been yours by spiritual right. Wealth is not merely the accumulation of coins or possessions. It is the radiant flow of ideas, joy, confidence, love, and harmony. Every blessing that appears externally first germinates in the garden of the inner world. Thoughts are seeds, and words water them. If one sows seeds of worry, weeds of lack arise. If one speaks fear, shadows grow. But when one dares to affirm divine opulence, when one aligns with the law of abundance, doors swing wide and miracles rush forth without delay. Many will say, "But I see only emptiness before me." They forget that faith acts before the evidence appears. The sculptor sees the statue in the marble long before the chisel strikes. So must one perceive wealth within, even through seasons that seem barren. Every spiritual decree is like a command to the universe, and the universe must obey. When you speak words charged with conviction, you are calling to life the hidden riches of your soul. That which belongs to you will answer, for it recognizes the vibration of your inner authority. The world is filled with those who chase fortune, believing it exists somewhere outside their reach. They strive, grasp, and exhaust their energy seeking what they already possess. The true source does not reside in banks, markets, or the approval of others. It flows through you as an eternal river. To block this river with doubt is to feel poverty. To release it with faith is to experience overflowing supply. You are not a beggar in the universe. You are a co-creator with divine power. Every challenge you face, every moment of perceived lack, is but an invitation to claim your inner command. Do not speak of what you fear, speak of what you are promised. Say, "All that is mine, by divine right, comes to me now." Say, "I walk in abundance, for abundance is my nature." Declare that the path ahead is paved in unexpected blessings, and the universe will conspire to make it so. When you awaken to the wealth within, you no longer question your worthiness. You stand tall, knowing the infinite is your supply and ideas are your gold. You cease to hope for prosperity. You expect it, you call it, you command it. And as your words rise in faith, the hidden treasure of your life rises with them, ready at last to be revealed. Wealth begins as a divine idea within, long before it appears in the physical world, for what the eyes behold is merely a reflection of what the spirit has already accepted as true. Every form of prosperity, whether it arrives as money, opportunity, creativity, harmonious relationships, or radiant health, first emerges as a spark in the unseen realm of consciousness. The inner world is the birthplace of every outer blessing. Just as a seed contains the full design of the mighty oak it will one day become, so does your mind contain the pattern of all potential abundance. When you recognize this truth, you stop searching for wealth as though it were hidden away in some distant land. Instead, you turn inward and nurture the divine ideas planted within, knowing they are destined to take shape in perfect timing. Many people look at their current circumstances and believe that lack is a permanent condition, forgetting that at any moment a new thought can initiate a transformation. A shift in consciousness can tear down the walls of limitation and open wide the gates to prosperity. The invisible idea always comes first, and the visible form follows. The spiritual law is precise and cannot be altered. Consciousness precedes manifestation. When you fill your mind with expectation of good, your life becomes a mirror reflecting increasing good. When you dwell upon insufficiency, your world shrinks to match your vibration. What one holds within determines what one will hold in the hand. You are continually creating through the ideas you accept and entertain. If you believe you are destined to struggle, you will unconsciously call experiences that confirm that belief. If you know that divine supply flows through you with ease, your reality will rise to meet your conviction. Every individual holds this creative authority, whether aware of it or not. Many unknowingly create lack by dwelling on what they fear or resent. They forget they are the architects of their world through the thoughts they choose to build upon. When the mind is aligned with truth, it calls forth abundance from every direction. When the mind is ruled by doubt, it blocks the very blessings it desires. Wealth is not bestowed upon a select few. It is the natural state of all who remember their spiritual inheritance. The universe is lavish and overflowing, never withholding, never rationing its goodness. A blade of grass pushes through concrete, flowers bloom in desolate places, rivers carve through mountains. Life insists on flourishing. That same power that animates all creation is the power within you. Divine intelligence has already designed a prosperous path for your life, filled with ideas that lead to supply, connections that open doors, and inspiration that lights your way. But you must be willing to claim that path by recognizing that the true source of wealth is not external, it is embedded in your very being. The world may chant messages of limitation, telling you to be realistic, to accept what you have been given, to believe that opportunities are scarce. Yet the inner voice of spirit contradicts them all, assuring you that the kingdom of abundance is already established within your soul. That kingdom is not accessed through force, fear, or frantic effort. It is accessed through alignment, a quiet inner knowing that everything you require is already prepared for you. You need only attune your mind to divine ideas instead of clinging to human doubts. Every inspired idea carries with it a supply, just as every need arrives with its own solution. When a divine idea enters your consciousness, it is a signal that the universe is ready to expand your good. These ideas often appear as gentle nudges, new interests, sudden clarity, or persistent dreams that refuse to fade. Many ignore such sparks, brushing them aside as unrealistic or inconvenient, unaware that they are dismissing the first glimpse of their future wealth. To honor a divine idea is to water the seed of prosperity planted by spirit. You nurture it through faithful attention, trusting that what is unseen today will be undeniable tomorrow. Too often people measure their potential by their present resources, forgetting that resources are the last step in manifestation. Ideas are the first. And ideas are limitless. A person with a brilliant idea, held with unwavering confidence, is wealthier than someone with a full purse but an empty imagination. The purse may empty, but the creative mind is a well that never runs dry. When you cultivate a consciousness that welcomes inspiration, new streams of prosperity continually unfold. You hold the power to choose which ideas you embrace. When you choose thoughts of lack, you align with a world of limitation. When you choose thoughts attuned to divine abundance, you become a magnet for success, love, and increase. Consider how often inspiration has whispered to you, pointing to something greater. Perhaps you felt drawn to learn a new skill, pursue a business concept, invest in yourself, or step outside comfort into possibility. These impulses are not accidents. They are wealth announcing itself within, urging you to take notice and take action. To recognize wealth as an inner reality is to live free from fear of loss. For even if money departs, even if circumstances shift, the source remains intact, alive within you and ready to bring forth new supply. The outer form may change, but the essence of prosperity is eternal. No person, event, or condition can remove what spirit has planted in your soul. You carry your abundance with you wherever you go, and it reveals itself in accordance with your belief. If you desire greater wealth, begin by improving the quality of the ideas you accept as true. Envision yourself living in the flow of limitless supply. Affirm that everything you need arrives in divine order. Hold yourself as worthy of the best and expect it as naturally as you expect the sun to rise. The subconscious mind responds to conviction, not hesitation. When you speak of your inner riches with certainty, your life begins to reorganize itself around that truth. As you walk through each day, let every thought affirm that wealth is not something to earn or chase, but something to awaken. The divine idea within you is always calling you higher, always expanding your understanding of what is possible. You are the custodian of infinite supply in seed form, and through your consciousness, that seed will unfold into visible prosperity, guided by divine intelligence and supported by an ever-lavish universe. Words are the command that unlock abundance, for every spoken decree sends a signal into the unseen, shaping the substance of reality with undeniable precision. The universe is responsive, ever listening, ever arranging itself to mirror the vibration of the words you release. When you speak from fear, you set forces in motion that attract experiences confirming that fear. When you speak from faith, you summon blessings that rise to meet your confidence. Every sentence is a seed. Every declaration shapes the future. To speak is not merely to communicate, it is to create. The spoken word carries power because it is filled with belief, emotion, and intention. A person may think a thought quietly, but when they speak it aloud, they give it structure and assign it greater authority. Words are the outward proclamation of the inner command. They are the vibration that causes dormant energy to awaken and respond. You may not always notice the immediate result of your words, yet the law is always at work, endlessly arranging the perfect chain of events to deliver whatever you have affirmed. Life is always obeying the instructions you declare, even when your declarations are careless or unconscious. There are those who speak casually, filling their days with statements such as, "I can't afford that," "Nothing ever works out for me," or "I'm always struggling." They do not realize that they are pronouncing a decree of lack with every breath. Their words reinforce the very conditions they wish to escape. The universe does not interpret sarcasm or self-deprecation. It responds only to the energy behind the statement. Thus, when someone continues to affirm hardship, hardship persists. When someone continues to affirm limitation, limitation expands. What is spoken often enough becomes what is lived. But when one becomes aware of the power of the word, they begin to claim authority over their speech. They choose declarations that support rather than sabotage their prosperity. They speak abundance even when outer evidence has not yet arrived. They do not wait to see wealth before speaking wealth. They speak wealth so they may see it. Faith-filled words precede manifestation, acting like keys that unlock doors previously closed. Through intentional language, one calls forward the riches already assigned to their soul. Every word has direction. Some words lead toward freedom, others lead back to bondage. Affirmations spoken with conviction are far more than hopeful wishes. They are commands issued to the infinite supply that governs the universe. When you declare, "All the good I desire flows to me now," that statement becomes a magnet, drawing every resource, person, and circumstance needed to fulfill it. When you say, "I prosper wherever I go," you awaken channels of abundance that may have been dormant for years. These words begin restructuring your world, transforming invisible potential into visible form. Your voice carries a unique energetic imprint that activates your own manifestations more powerfully than any thought alone. Thoughts form the blueprint, but words set the construction into motion. The moment you speak, you give instructions to the unseen forces working behind the curtain of reality. It is as if you are a commander calling troops into action, summoning everything required to build the future you have chosen. Where attention goes, energy flows, and where words lead, life follows. There are countless opportunities each day to command abundance through speech. When faced with a bill, instead of saying, "I can't handle this," declare, "This is easily taken care of." Divine supply meets every demand. When desiring a new opportunity, do not say, "I hope something good happens," but rather, "The perfect opportunity arrives now and I am ready to receive it." Language infused with certainty carries far greater manifesting power than language clouded with doubt. The universe responds to clarity and confidence. It is also essential to eliminate the habit of contradicting your own declarations. One cannot affirm prosperity in the morning and then complain of lack in the afternoon. Mixed messages confuse the flow of supply. Consistency is the mark of unwavering faith, If outer conditions seem unchanged, do not speak against your own desire. Continue the command until the outer must align with the inner decree. Words backed with persistence become unstoppable. Gratitude spoken aloud also serves as a powerful command. To say, "Thank you for the wealth unfolding in my life," signals belief that it already exists. That belief draws the unmanifest into manifestation with accelerated speed. Gratitude is recognition of current and future blessings as one continuous flow. When the universe hears appreciation, it delivers more to appreciate. Guarding your words is an act of self-love. Refuse to speak defeat, even playfully. Refuse to repeat stories of limitation, even if they seem factual. Facts can change instantly when the truth of abundance is spoken boldly. The most prosperous individuals are not those who never encountered difficulties, but those who refused to give difficulties a voice. They spoke victory until victory became their reality. Silence can even be preferable to negative speech. If you cannot yet speak abundance with conviction, hold your tongue rather than releasing doubt into the world. Use that silence to nurture inner belief until the day you can speak prosperity with power. Words spoken without belief carry little weight, but words spoken with absolute conviction reshape worlds. Each time you speak, imagine that your words are stamping themselves upon the future, forming the reality that will soon appear before you. Imagine that the universe pauses to listen every time you affirm a desire. Imagine that your voice is a tuning fork, calling the frequency of abundance into harmony with your life. Speak only that which you are willing to receive. When you release a word filled with faith, it never disappears. It travels through the invisible and begins gathering all that is necessary to fulfill itself. It may appear silent, but it is working. It may seem delayed, but it is inevitable. Words are the divine spark that ignite creation and shape destiny. The command of the spoken word is your birthright. You hold within your voice the power to unlock new levels of prosperity, to attract unexpected blessings, to transform limitation into expansion. Speak as one who knows the universe supports every bold declaration. Speak as one who understands that each word activates the wealth already assigned to your life. Speak as one who has awakened to the truth. The moment you give the command, abundance begins its journey toward you. Faith must precede visible supply, for the universe responds not to hesitation but to the certainty of belief, held long before anything can be seen or touched. Faith is the invisible force that constructs the bridge between desire and manifestation. Without it, even the most powerful spiritual truths remain inactive, like seeds locked away in a container, never given the chance to grow. Faith steps forward when appearances insist there is no reason to, and declares that the good you seek is already in motion. It is the inner assurance that supply is guaranteed, even when the senses argue otherwise. One who waits to believe until the blessing appears will wait endlessly, for manifestation must first be accepted in consciousness. The world often teaches that one must see results before trusting in success. But spiritual law reverses this. It requires the inner knowing to come first. Faith is the substance of yet unseen wealth, the foundation of miracles not yet formed. When you walk with faith, you no longer measure life by what is visible, but by what is promised. You trust the divine order working behind the scenes, arranging the perfect chain of events. This inner confidence clears the path for supply to flow without obstruction. Doubt clogs the channel, faith opens it wide. Even the most abundant universe cannot deliver to a mind filled with disbelief. A closed heart cannot receive. A fearful mind commands a future filled with more fear. Faith is the permission slip allowing prosperity to enter. It says, "I trust that what is mine by divine right is already on its way." This trust signals readiness. It aligns consciousness with the abundance already held in spiritual escrow. Just as a seed sprouts in darkness before it rises into light, so must your prosperity first grow in the unseen realm of belief. Every success story begins with someone daring to believe in what others could not yet see. Before the first brick is laid, the architect envisions the structure complete. Before the invention arrives, the inventor trusts in the inspiration. Before healing becomes evident, the healer believes wholeness is already present. Faith is that quiet inner whisper that says, "It is done," even while the world insists it has not yet begun. Spiritual supply must first be acknowledged mentally, emotionally, and spiritually before it can crystallize physically. Situations may present themselves as barren, hopeless, or impossibly constrained, yet faith calls them fertile ground. What seems like lack is merely incomplete manifestation. If one judges too quickly by appearances, the miracle may be abandoned just before arrival. Faith continues when logic wants to retreat. It affirms abundance in the face of emptiness. It speaks prosperity in the presence of bills. It sees opportunity while others see obstacles. Faith declares that the invisible is more powerful than the visible, because the invisible is the source from which the visible springs forth. There may be seasons where nothing seems to change on the surface. These are the sacred times of root-taking, when manifestation is establishing itself beyond eyesight. Impatience during this phase can disrupt the process, for doubt uproots what faith has planted. Yet if one remains steadfast, refusing to compromise belief, the outer world must eventually reflect the inner conviction. The law is unwavering. What you believe with persistence must come forth. Faith is not pretending, it is knowing. It is not wishful thinking or blind hope. It is spiritual certainty, grounded in the understanding that the universe is always delivering good to those who align with its laws. It is walking as though the blessing has already arrived, feeling the joy and security of fulfillment now. Emotions are signals to the universe. When you feel abundant, you broadcast abundance. When you feel fearful, you broadcast resistance. Faith chooses to feel the outcome before it is visible, drawing it closer with every heartbeat. Some believe that they will feel secure once supply comes, but security must first be summoned through faith. It is the inner sense of sufficiency that magnetizes outer provision. One who constantly worries about running out creates more to worry about. One who believes in endless supply invites endless supply. Faith does not ask how. It simply accepts that the means will appear. It knows that the universe has infinite avenues to deliver good. There are countless miracles waiting to be activated by faith. Great ideas are hovering, opportunities are forming, alleys of prosperity are opening, but only for the one willing to believe before being shown proof. Every spiritual promise begins in the unseen. When your eyes see nothing, your spirit must see everything. Faith is the vision that looks beyond the surface and recognizes the abundance already ordained. The mind may attempt to argue, pointing to evidence of lack, but faith does not answer to the mind. It answers to divine truth. Each time you choose to trust despite appearances, you strengthen the signal that calls supply into being. Like a beacon in the night, faith guides the blessing home. It holds the door open when doubt wants to close it. It continues to prepare the space for prosperity, confident that prosperity is on its way. True faith is unwavering. It is not shaken by delays or distorted by challenges. When confronted with temporary difficulties, faith says, "This too is part of the unfolding of my good." It does not retreat into fear. It holds the vibration of abundance until the world must unfold to match it. It understands that divine timing is always perfect, and that every moment of waiting is an opportunity to reinforce belief. When you believe wholeheartedly that the universe supports your prosperity, you stop chasing supply. Instead, supply finds you. You stop striving through worry and begin receiving through alignment. You become a magnet to the very good you once felt distant from. The moment faith is established, the manifestation process accelerates. Faith precedes visible supply, because spiritual law responds to conviction before confirmation. It is the declaration that opens the gate, the trust that lights the path, the confidence that shapes reality from the inside out. The invisible always gives birth to the visible. The spiritual always gives birth to the material. Faith is the birthplace of every blessing you will ever receive. You are a co-creator with limitless spiritual power, endowed with the divine ability to shape your life, your conditions, and your destiny through the energy of thought, belief, and intention. The universe does not operate as a distant authority handing out blessings to a chosen few. It works in partnership with the consciousness of each individual. Every experience that enters your life answers a pattern you have impressed upon the invisible. When you understand this, you cease to see yourself as a passive participant in the flow of life. Instead, you recognize that you stand at the center of creation, constantly influencing what arrives and what departs through the vibration you hold. You are not waiting for the universe to decide what you deserve. You are continuously declaring what you are ready to receive by the level of power you claim within yourself. Limitless spiritual power means there are no real barriers except those accepted in the mind. Every limitation, every perceived obstacle, originates not in divine truth, but in human belief. Spirit places no restrictions on your supply, your growth, or your potential. The energy of the universe flows freely, responding to the direction you give it. Whether you speak words of abundance or words of defeat, the creative force obeys. Whether you imagine success or imagine struggle, the unseen aligns accordingly. You are always creating. The question is not whether you are using your power, but how. Once you become conscious of this truth, you can begin to wield your power deliberately rather than accidentally. Being a co-creator with spirit means that your desires are not whims or illusions. They are signals of what is already aligned with you. If a vision lives within your heart, it is because the universe has already prepared the way for its fulfillment. Your role is to believe in the divine partnership, to trust that your inspired ideas come with the full support of infinite intelligence. The moment you embrace an idea with faith, unseen forces immediately begin arranging the people, opportunities, and resources needed to bring it to fruition. Each time you step confidently toward your desire, you activate a creative current that expands with every choice you make. When you understand your co-creative nature, you stop pleading for miracles and begin commanding them. You no longer ask life whether you are worthy. You proclaim your worth with authority. You do not shrink in the presence of temporary appearances. You hold your position as one who carries the spark of the infinite. Spiritual power does not operate through struggle or strain. It operates through alignment, through the clear recognition that you are an extension of the divine source that formed the stars, the oceans, and the very ground beneath you. That same power pulses through your consciousness, waiting for your permission to express itself fully. Many people underestimate themselves because they have been conditioned to believe that external forces control their fate. They look to society, other people, or circumstances for validation. They forget that every visible form is the result of an invisible idea. When you allow outside conditions to dictate how powerful you feel, you give away your creative authority. But when you choose to see yourself as the master of your own vibration, you reclaim the throne of divine dominion granted to you since the beginning. You become the one who sets the standard for your life, rather than adapting to the standards set by others. The limitless power within you is not activated through doubting or wishing. It is activated through knowing. It requires you to remember that you are not separate from the source of all abundance, but one with it. You are not here to simply survive. You are here to manifest the highest expression of who you are. Creativity is your nature. Expansion is your purpose. When you align with these truths, you discover that the universe is not a battlefield. It is a canvas awaiting your vision. Your thoughts are the paint, your emotions the color, and your beliefs the brushstrokes, forming the masterpiece of your life. If you do not like what you see, you can repaint it. If a chapter feels limiting, you can rewrite it. There is no story too deeply ingrained to be changed. Divine power is not hindered by your past. It does not keep score or hold grudges against the mistakes you once made. Each moment is a fresh invitation to embody the creator within you and choose again. Imagination plays a vital role in your co-creative ability. What you visualize with passion becomes a magnetic charge, attracting the physical equivalent. When you allow yourself to dream boldly, without apologizing or downsizing your vision to please others, you activate creative forces that have been waiting for your permission to move. To imagine is to preview the life you are in the process of bringing forth. If you can see it in your mind, you have already begun to build it in the unseen. Emotion amplifies creation. When you feel excited, grateful, joyful, or empowered about what you desire, you accelerate its arrival. Emotion is the energy that fuels manifestation. A thought alone is a blueprint, but a thought infused with emotion becomes a command. You have the ability to generate the very feeling of fulfillment long before the manifestation arrives, and that feeling signals the universe that the time of your blessing is now. Confidence in your spiritual power does not require that you understand the mechanics of how everything will unfold. Your role is knowing what you want and trusting the divine to manage the details. Infinite intelligence works with precision far beyond human planning. When you try to control every step, you restrict the flow. When you allow the universe to orchestrate, you invite miracles. Letting go is not surrendering your power. It is trusting your partnership with the source of all power. As you embrace your role as co-creator, your inner voice grows stronger. You begin noticing synchronicities, intuitive guidance, and timely inspirations. These are signs that you are aligned with your divine nature. Opportunities appear effortlessly because they are meant for you. People show up with answers because the universe works through them. Challenges dissolve because faith overrides fear. Nothing is impossible to the one who knows their true identity. You carry within you a divine spark capable of illuminating any area of your life with abundance, joy, and purpose. When you awaken to this truth fully, you stop asking for permission to thrive. You step into your greatness with grace. You speak with authority. You act with certainty. You live with a sense of leadership over your reality. The world around you begins to reshape itself to reflect the strength you have claimed within. Expect prosperity as your natural birthright, for abundance is not a rare privilege reserved for a chosen few, but the inherent state of every soul aligned with divine truth. You did not arrive in this world to struggle through scarcity or to question whether you were worthy of good. You were born with infinite wealth already coded into your spiritual identity. The universe you inhabit is lavish, overflowing, and ever-expanding, revealing at every turn that supply is limitless and renewal is constant. When you look at nature, a tree bearing thousands of seeds, oceans that never stop abundant waves, stars scattered across endless skies, you see a reflection of your own spiritual inheritance. The universe does not withhold. It gives without limit, and you are meant to receive with the same ease. To expect prosperity means to live each day with the understanding that good is on its way, even before it arrives in physical form. It means walking with assurance rather than hoping with hesitation. Many people speak of abundance as something they must earn, prove, or chase, but true prosperity emerges from alignment, not struggle. When you expect the best, you prepare your mind and environment to welcome the best. Expectation is the vibration that signals the universe, I am ready to receive the good already mine. It eliminates doubt and clears the channel for supply to flow freely. When you expect scarcity, you create barriers through fear. You cling tightly, worrying that there is not enough to go around. You see others receive good and assume it subtracts from your share. But the universe is not a limited pool. It is an ever-replenishing source. What is for another does not diminish what is for you. Prosperity does not operate on competition, but on expansion. Each person awakened to their abundance increases abundance for all. When you expect prosperity consistently, you become a magnet to greater good, drawing it with the ease of spiritual law in motion. Expectation reshapes perception. When you anticipate good, you recognize opportunities that others overlook. You take inspired action that others hesitate to take. You become attuned to ideas that lead to increase, relationships that support growth, and pathways once invisible. What you expect determines what you notice, and what you notice determines what you attract. If you go through life expecting disappointment, you confirm it repeatedly. But when expectation aligns with prosperity, your world transforms to match the frequency you hold. Your natural birthright of abundance means that prosperity is not something you must justify. You do not need to earn divine favor or prove yourself deserving of blessings. Worthiness is your essence, not a reward. The moment you justify why you cannot have something, you deny the truth of your identity. Expecting prosperity is simply accepting what has always been promised. That every need will be met, every desire aligned with your highest good will be fulfilled, and every step forward will be guided by divine wisdom. Children understand this truth instinctively. They expect their needs to be met without questioning how or when. They move in trust. Only through conditioning do people learn fear-based thinking, taught to doubt themselves, limit their dreams, or believe they must settle for less. Reclaiming your expectation of prosperity is an act of returning to divine innocence, where abundance is assumed and joy is natural. The kingdom within does not function through worry. It functions through faith that everything desired is already provided. To expect prosperity is to speak confidently of what is coming, even before the evidence appears. It means affirming that doors are opening, even when still unseen. It means giving thanks for answered prayers while they are still forming in the invisible. Gratitude expressed in advance is one of the strongest demonstrations of expectation. It calls forth manifestation by declaring the outcome certain. When you say, "Thank you for the abundance unfolding now," you align with the divine timeline where your supply already exists. The mind may try to question expectation, attempting to protect you from disappointment. But fear always paints illusions. It fixates on what was rather than what can be. To expect prosperity is to choose a higher truth than the memory of struggle. It is to realize that past lack has no authority over future blessings. Every moment is a doorway to new reality, and expectation is the key that opens it. When you choose to expect prosperity, you rewrite your story from the inside out. Living from expectation changes how you carry yourself. You move with confidence, knowing support surrounds you. You release desperation, knowing there is no shortage of supply. You become generous, knowing giving opens even greater channels of receiving. Prosperity enjoyed spreads prosperity further, activating the cycle of abundance that benefits all. When you align with your birthright, you become an example of what is possible, inspiring others to claim their good as well. Expecting prosperity is not arrogance, it is humility before divine truth. Arrogance claims lack and limitation as reality. Humility recognizes abundance as the natural order. To expect good is to honor the source that created you, overflowing with potential. When you minimize your ability to prosper, you are not playing small for virtue's sake. You are contradicting the infinite power that formed you. The universe delights in your expansion, for your success is an expression of divine excellence. Each day offers a new invitation to strengthen your expectation. When a challenge appears, expect the solution to arrive swiftly. When an old pattern surfaces, expect new wisdom to replace it. When blessings begin to flow, expect them to increase. The more you expect prosperity, the more natural it feels. It becomes your standard operating state rather than an occasional hope. You stop wondering if abundance will come and begin celebrating how it arrived. The moment you claim prosperity as your birthright, you reclaim all the good that fear once blocked. You step into a life led not by chance, but by divine intention. Expectation elevates your vibration, and the universe must rise to meet it. Abundance recognizes those who recognize themselves. When you expect prosperity freely, you honor your spirit fully, stepping into alignment with the limitless supply that has always been yours.